Today's episode of Fishing for Fun is a special tribute to the fishing industry. Today's main focus is the bass fishing sports writers and their contribution to the industry. There are many that we would love to include. However, due to the limited time we have in this episode, we're only able to highlight just a few. This morning, we're going fishing with George Kramer at Lake Elsinore. Later on, we're heading to Lake Irvine and meet up with Mike Fulkstead and Bradley Schweit. So sit back and enjoy another exciting episode of Fishing for Fun. Lake Elsinore is located in Southern California. It has a well-maintained launch site and an abundance of wildlife. But today, we're not sightseeing. We're going fishing with Hall of Famer George Kramer, while he targets largemouth and wipers. He hasn't been to the lake for a while, so Kramer's expecting to take some time to figure out where the fish are and what they're biting. But to his surprise, within a few casts, he's hooked up.
It's all right, we're going to catch a good one now. This changes everything.
Kramer's got to get his lure out there immediately if he wants to capitalize on the moment. As he's learned in the tournament scene, every second counts, and today is no different.
Well, what he wants to do is gaff me. Nice Lake Elsinore wiper. It's a hybrid white bass and striper. They don't reproduce, so they have to stock them, and they grow up from the small size that they put in here originally. Whoa!
George has been catching his fish with a chartreuse, medium diving crankbait. The water temperature is about 75 degrees. He's sitting in 13 feet, and as you can see, the graph is loaded with fish. Now, let's take a look underneath the water's surface and see exactly what he's casting to. There's a 4 to 5 foot break. He's running the crankbait alongside the break on his retrieve. The suspended fish just can't seem to resist it this morning.
Oh, we got one. He ate it all.
Did I understand correctly that there's a Hall of Fame for people in the media? Well, then a fishing sports writer must have a very important job. When asked about his role in the industry, this was his reply.
You know, I get a chance to talk with the scientists, learn about limnology and fishery biology and all of those things. And not that I'm the expert, but I help make some sense of what they've been trying to tell us. And then we try to figure out how does that affect a day of angling. And if we can come up with some clues, we don't have to have all the answers, but if we can have some clues, then we can probably be more successful out here on the water. And that is what a media guy does who's vested, who loves to fish, but also loves for other people to have success as well.
George can keep his rod tip high with these hybrids, since they won't jump and throw the lure. But they sure pull hard. He's getting a workout with this fish.
Those marks you were seeing, that's what you were seeing. That one's, I'm not sure what that one weighs, but it's over 5 pounds.
Even after the fourth fish, it's still not safe to assume he's onto a pattern unless he tests his theory on another part of the lake. Along the way, they couldn't resist doing a little sightseeing and stopping by the famous speed limit sign.
Max speed, 150 miles an hour. On the weekends you gotta go slow, but on the weekdays you can pick it up a little. I've never had my boat up to 150, but I probably haven't had it trimmed up enough.
Now, we all know that people pay attention to what Kramer writes and says, but it looks as if the readers are not the only ones.
I kind of want to fish this rocks, guys. Pretty cool, huh?
The fish didn't seem to be biting here, so he moved on. And on his first cast, at the next stop, there was yet another sight to see.
Ooh. That was some real heavy duty stuff. Oh, that's it. There's one. It's like, wish I had this at Lake Mead. Somebody to take in my picture. I wasn't expecting that, but I'm glad I got it.
The pattern is now clear. The fish are chasing bait in murky water, so George is using lures that will imitate bait fish. Chartreuse is a key colour for these conditions, and today he's finding the fish alongside breaks and structure. He's found a pattern, and now it's time to pay special attention to the details. The concept of tuning a crankbait is to get it to run perfectly straight on your retrieve in open water. That's your baseline for retrieve. However, in real fishing situations, the lure often ricochets off rocks and trees and eventually begins to run offline. To tune or straighten its course, slightly bend the line tie eye of the lure in the opposite direction the lure wants to pull. Do it incrementally. Bend the eye, then see how it runs. Then bend and check again until the lure runs true. Finally, make sure you haven't damaged your knot.
One of the great benefits of being in the media, especially the fishing media, is you get to fish with some of the very best anglers in the country. Now, most of them are tournament fishermen, but not all. And I've had some wonderful opportunities. So you could say that it kind of reflects on my top 40 list in some ways. Really, the top 40 list is a reminder to me that there's no one way to do it. And you learn that when you fish with the experts. It seems like on the tournament scene, especially the national scene, that everybody's pretty much indistinguishable. You know, they either have initials or a nickname, but they all wear the same colored shirts, and they all run the same high-powered boats, and they all have more sonar than the U.S. Navy. And because of that, it's hard to see what is it that they provide. What are they doing individually that makes them such a great angler? More recently, I fished with, obviously Southern California, blessed with many of the great structure fishermen, like folks out, of course, Don Iovino, Gary Klein, a former Californian. I would say those three were the best three boat positioners that I ever met, that I ever fished with. And I've been in the boat with some pretty big names, and those three made the boat just like an extension of a pier, or an extension of where they were standing.
Elsinore's shallow and murky waters provide unique angling opportunities for Californians, totally different than the deeper, finesse fishing reservoirs found statewide. When the fish are biting, you want to be here with your heavy line. From our stop-off on a shallow natural lake, we'll change focus as we move to a clear water reservoir, some 25 miles to the west. Today we're meeting up with a well-known and respected sports writer.
Not even 8 o'clock? No complaints. Phenomenal day thus far.
It appears these school-sized bass are bunched up in the weeds. A look at the sonar screen on the right gives the anglers clues on where to cast. The grass beds, shown here, and just above the bottom in yellow, provide hiding places for the predator and their prey. The drop shot rig puts the hook and worm about 6 inches above a 1/4 ounce sinker. This rig allows the bait to appear free swimming and makes it more visible than a worm that hugs the bottom. And one after another, a fish goes darting out and smacks one of the plastic baits. You've got to love that. But could there be some trophy fish lurking in the shadows?
My name is Bradley Schweit. I am the editor of One Bass, and I'm also an associate editor with Western Outdoor News. I've been with the company for 7 years now, and to be quite frank, it's probably the greatest job anyone could have. I make a decent living getting paid to go fish and write about it, and I have the opportunity to be on the water with anglers the likes of Mike Folkstad, who we're fishing with today. I've also fished with Kevin Van Dam, you know, some of the top names in the industry. The average angler who goes out and enjoys fishing, the fact that I get to spend time with these top tier anglers benefits our readership from the standpoint of I get to learn things that really not many people, if any, are ever privy to. And I can share those insider tips and information with our readers. That's a good fish. Yes! Nice! Oh, that feels nice. This is definitely the biggest fish I've had in a while. Hands down my biggest Irvine fish. It's only appropriate using the folks said special fishing with Mike. That's a nice fish. Felt great. All right, baby. See you later. Yoo-hoo! I cover such events as, for example, the US Open, where you have the top bass anglers in the country, you know, flying in from all over the United States to fish in what has been deemed and is arguably the most prestigious bass tournament in the world, definitely on the West Coast and definitely in the United States. And, you know, in regards to the anglers that we do draw to this event, we've had guys come from as far away as Japan, which, if that doesn't show the drawing power and the significance of that tournament, I don't really know what does.
In the front of the boat is the quiet icon of Western bass fishing, Mike Folkstad. He's a 3-time US Open winner. Mike is also casting onto the same grassy structure.
Well, it's not as big as Bradley's, but it's another Folkstad special.
And adding yet another largemouth to the day's catch. Note how he keeps steady pressure on the fish. There's no wild pumping of the rod or sudden movement during this fight.
Oh, look at that thing.
That's a nice fish. He was totally buried in the grass, but I got him out.
Irvine Lake has been around since the 1930s and features that friendly, old-time feel. It offers a cafe with both outdoor and indoor seating, and the tackle shop with all the special baits you might need. We fished for bass today, but rainbow trout and catfish are also found in the reservoir. That's all for now on today's Fishing for Fun, but don't you know, we'll be back again soon, so please join us then.
It couldn't. Oh, we got one.
I caught him on a 1-inch worm.
Look at that brute.
Okay. Eat your heart out, Georgie.
I'll take a hybrid striper every now and again, just to make sure I'm still I was gonna say, alive.
That looks like a good fish.
Hey, why don't you come up here and get Bradley to it?
I'm not getting a hand off. I'm sticking my own fish today. That's a good fish though. But thank you for the offer.
Oh, it's good to get something on film anyway. Whoa. Move the boat.